Girl of Ancient Civilization. Book 1 of the Ëlanari Tales. Brought to you by Ashenheart. Chapter 15. The Last Library. The stars were moving. That was wrong. Stars didn't move. He blinked and realized it was him, shaking. The tremors running from his gut to his fingers and back. The knife wound pumping warmth down his hip with each heartbeat. Less warmth each time.
"You're dying,"
Lira said. She was kneeling beside him in the grass. Moonlight cut her face in half, one eye bright, one in shadow. "Noticed," he said.
"The knife went deep. You've lost too much blood. Your skin's gray and your pulse is too fast and too thin. Your body's stopped fighting."
"You always this cheerful?"
"I know things."
He almost laughed. It came out as a cough that moved the knife, and the knife sent a bolt of white through his vision. When it cleared, the stars were back, still moving, slower now. The pain had changed. Wide and warm, spreading through him like water soaking through cloth, almost comfortable.
"I can save you,"
she said. He turned his head. The grass was wet against his cheek. She sat perfectly still, hands on her knees, the oversized cloak pooled around her. "How?" She didn't answer immediately. The wind moved the grass. The night bird somewhere in the ashwood sang its single note, high and clear.
"The inscriptions,"
she said.
"what I carry. It's not what they told you."
Weapons class. Siege grade. That's what the contract said.
That's what someone told the ledger, and the ledger told the handler, and the handler told you. Everyone said what would make the next person take it seriously.
Take what seriously?
She looked at him.
"I'm not a weapon, Kael. I'm a library."
He stared at her.
"There was a people called the Ëlanari. I don't know where they lived, the inscriptions don't say, or I haven't found that part. They were scholars, doctors. They understood the body, the world, how things work at the level where you can't see anymore.
She was speaking faster, unspooling.
They knew they were going to fall. They had time and they used it, compressed everything, medicine, history, science, their understanding of magic and earth and flesh.
And put it in you.
Born with them. The marks surfaced as I grew, bloodline carrying what the scholars wove in before the end, a civilization into a child, because a child could grow and carry it and nobody would think to look."
The clearing was still. Kael lay in the grass and looked at the girl. "A library. The last one,"
The healing.
he said.
They were doctors.
Doctors first, before anything else. The medical knowledge is the deepest layer.
What's the cost?
She didn't look away.
Everything. The healing draws on the full system, it doesn't spare. The inscriptions go dark, all of them. The marks stay but the power's spent, like a book read until the pages are blank.
The whole library.
The whole library.
Then don't.
She stared at him.
A civilization's knowledge, Lira. Everything they were. You don't spend that on
That's not your decision.
Lira.
I said it's not your decision.
Harder,
You came for me,
she said.
at the camp. With a knife in you, bleeding from everywhere, nothing left. You came.
That's the job.
It stopped being the job on the road. When you stopped seeing cargo and started seeing me, that's when it became a choice.
He had nothing. Dying in the grass, and she was right,
Every time.
she said.
The way house. The funnel. The fort. You chose me.
She put her hands on his chest.
Now I'm choosing you.
She looked at the knife in his stomach.
I need to take it out.
She said. She wrapped both hands around the handle. He gritted his teeth. She pulled, steady, straight. The blade came free. Blood followed. She set the knife in the grass beside them. Then she put her hands on his chest. The inscriptions ignited. Everything, every mark on every bone, wrist to spine to the deep inscription at the center of her back, all of it at once. The color of the sky at the exact line between night and morning. Light poured through her palms into his chest. He felt it, as correction. The knife wound closed from the inside. muscle knitting, membrane sealing, vessels finding each other and reconnecting. His body reversed, the gray pulling back, warmth flooding in, his heartbeat finding itself, from a thin flutter to the steady drum of something rebuilt. Thigh closed, shoulder sealed, ribs knit. Through her skin he could see them, the inscriptions in the bone, spirals, curves, geometries interlocking, being read for the last time. She was shaking.
Lira.
Her eyes were closed, her hands didn't move. The light was draining, section by section, the inscriptions going dark. The last one went dark. She opened her eyes. They were empty. She sat back on her heels. Just a girl. 10 years old. Thin wrists. Ruined cloak. Kneeling in moonlight. She reached forward and straightened his collar. Practical.
There.
She said. His eyes were closing. From depth.
Lira.
The only word left in him.
Sleep.
She said. The dark came. Warm. Deep. Total. She sat with him until she was sure. His breathing had slowed, deep and even. The pain lines had smoothed from his face. He looked younger without them. Hooves. East. Faint, but growing. She stood, her legs nearly buckled. The inscriptions were silent, the vibration that had lived in her bones since before memory, gone. She looked down at him, sleeping, whole, alive. She took off her cloak, folded it, corners neat, fabric smoothed flat, laid it beside his head. Picked up her pack, turned east, walked. Every step pulled the distance wider. If they found her on the road, they wouldn't search the clearing. She was too spent to run. She walked, one foot, then the other, through wet grass and into the trees, following the deer trail toward the road. Her legs shook. The belt knife bumped her hip. The hooves grew louder. She reached the road as the first torch broke through the trees. Wide track, rutted, pale earth under the moon. She stood in the center and waited. 5 horses came out of the dark at a canter. Darren at the front, bastard sword across the saddle, torch in his free hand. He pulled up hard. The horse danced beneath him. Torchlight threw his shadow across the road, huge and broken. He looked at her. A small girl standing in the middle of a road. No power.
Where is he?
Gone. West. Hours ago.
Darren studied her. The deep-set eyes reading the empty road behind her. The trunks where someone could hide.
You're alone.
Yes.
He dismounted. Walked toward her. She didn't step back. Close now. She could smell horse sweat and leather and the smoke from a camp she'd helped destroy. He stood over her and looked down at a 10-year-old girl who had nothing left.
You healed him.
He said.
Yes.
The inscriptions.
Dark.
He took a blanket from his horse, held it out. She took it, wrapped it around her shoulders. It was the heaviest thing she'd ever carried. He picked her up, carefully, set her on his horse, swung up behind her.
East.
He said. The squad turned, the horses moved, the road opened ahead, pale and long, running into the dark. Lira didn't look back. The hooves picked up speed, the trees blurred, the sound filled the night and then faded into it. Chapter 16. The Road. He woke to birdsong. Wrens, finches, something with a liquid trill that rose and fell like water over stones. The sky was pale gold. The grass around him was beaded with dew that caught the early light and turned the field into a scatter of tiny suns. He lay on his back. The ground was cold and damp beneath him. The sky was enormous. His body was wrong. Light, the agony of 3 days. Ribs, shoulder, leg, the knife, was gone. Breathing deep and easy, heartbeat steady, hands clean and unshaking when he raised them. He sat up. The field stretched in every direction. Open grass, rolling gently, the forest a dark line to the west. Morning light lay across everything. The air smelled of grass and dew and something faintly electric, like the air after a rune ignites, like the air around a library. He looked down. His shirt was stiff with dried blood, layers of it, brown and black, but the skin beneath was whole. He pressed his hand to his stomach where the knife had been, a thin white line. He pressed his ribs, his shoulder, his thigh. Nothing. Someone had paid for this. He looked to his left. Lira's cloak was folded beside him, small, dark, neat. Her pack was gone. Her boots had left no prints. She was gone. He picked up the cloak. It was lighter than it should have been, a child's cloak that had been too big for her and would be too small for him. He held it in both hands. Clean wool, the faint sweetness of grass, and beneath it something electric, the ghost of inscriptions. He sat with it for a while. He thought about Asha's knife in his stomach, the practiced precision, the apology that was real and useless, the way her face had changed, the woman she'd been all along surfacing. About Darren's voice, the low rumble, the unhurried certainty. Your own ledger sent me. And about a 10-year-old girl who had spent everything she carried to save him. She'd given him his life. He stood. He checked his belt pouch, 2 flare stones, smooth and inscribed, a nub of charcoal barely enough for 1 rune, an empty water skin, his sword sheathed, the blade clean. Someone had wiped the blood from it. Lira while he slept. The knife lay in the grass 3 feet away, cleaned. He picked it up, wiped it on the grass and put it back on his belt. He wrapped her cloak around his shoulders. It was too small. The hem hit his lower back instead of his knees. The hood wouldn't quite cover his head. He walked to the nearest rise, a gentle swell in the grass, and looked east. The hoofprints ran straight, cutting through the grass toward the horizon. Wherever they were taking her, they weren't hiding their trail. They had a dozen armed riders and a head start and a body in the field. He wasn't dead. He came back down and started walking. The grass whispered against his legs. The morning light was warm on his face. The cloak, her cloak, moved against his back with each step. The wind moved with him. A breeze that hadn't been there a moment ago. A faint, persistent push at his back. He walked east. The hoofprints in the morning light. The field stretching ahead, leading to the road and whatever lay past it. She had given him his life. He was going to give her back hers, however long it took, however many stood in his way. The road went east. Kael followed. He didn't know where they would take her, how many stood between him and wherever she was, whether the air magic would come back, or if the next time he faced Darren's sword he'd die for real. He was walking east, and he wasn't going to stop.
He fell at last on the open ground, where the forest ended and the stars came on, and the blood of his wounds was a slow dark tide, and the grass held him till his breath was gone. The child knelt down in her quiet way, and she looked at him with her steady eyes.
Thou art dying, Kael.
Aye, so it lies. Then walk east, he swore in the morning light. Walk east where the riders took her away. Walk east till the last breath leaves thy throat, and thy heart lies cold at the break of day. Walk east, walk east. She laid her hand on his broken chest, and she said a truth that she'd not yet spoke.
I am not a weapon, I am a book.
I am the last page of a shattered folk. They wrote their world in my bones and blood,
All they were and all they knew,
medicine, song, and the naming of stars,
and the last kind word of a dying crew.
Then walk east, he swore in the morning light. Walk east where the riders took her away. Walk east till the last breath leaves thy throat, and thy heart lies cold at the break of day. Walk east, walk east. She lit the marks as a candle lit, and his wounds did close, and his ribs did knit, and the color came back to his weathered face, and the child went dark in her silent place. And she heard the hooves in the distant wood, and she laid her cloak by his sleeping head, and she walked away on the open road, that the riders might find her instead. When he woke at dawn, she was gone from him, and her cloak was folded beside his hand, and he wrapped it small round his broader frame, and he stood and looked at the eastern land. She had given him his life that night,
He would give her hers however long,
however many stood between.
this was the oath.
This was the song. Walk east,
Walk east,